Now, everyone, tell me something. How long has it been since reality TV felt genuine? Because the recent events on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta may be the most shocking collapse the show has ever witnessed. They claimed it was just another Puerto Rican filming day. However, by the time the cameras stopped rolling, the entire cast was frightened. One man was fighting for his life, and another had been banished from the show. Perhaps permanently. Young Jock, you heard correctly. Officially, Mr. It's Going Down has been banned for allegedly pushing Kirk Frost to the verge of demise. Was it a brawl, a setup, a badly executed publicity gimmick? Or did the producers overdo the drama this time? This isn't simply another Love and Hip Hop plot. But insiders claim that the events of that night were so violent that VH1 had to stop production. Rashida was spotted outside the hospital crying and yelling. This show went too far. The entire franchise was ruined by this disgrace. Get ready, because what I'm going to reveal will completely alter your life. Before we begin, let's make one thing clear. This isn't your typical hip and love hip-hop drama. This has nothing to do with who liked whose Instagram posts or small talk. Not at all. The events involving Kirk Frost and Young Jock have officially straddled the boundary between pandemonium in real life and reality TV. What was supposed to be a fun reunion episode in Puerto Rico turned into one of the most violent, frightening, and dramatic meltdowns the franchise has ever witnessed. According to a number of on-set sources, a lot of them, honey, now that Kirk has been admitted to the hospital, Jock has been barred. And Rashida, let's just say that her breakdown outside the hospital has everyone wondering if this whole show should even go on. What then did happen? Let's go back. It all began when the Puerto Rico getaway episode was being filmed. The one that the producers hinted at as a cast healing retreat. You know? Yes, exactly. Has anything ever been cured during a Love and Hip Hop healing retreat? It's essentially a code for someone to scream, throw their hands, and be removed from the following season. According to insiders, Jock and Kirk Frost were already at odds long before the cameras were even rolling. Both men were apparently vying for the storyline behind the scenes. Supremacy. Jock believed that producers were ignoring him, giving Kirk and Rashida all the financial and emotional plot points. One source stated it well when he described him as the show's comedy relief. Jock had had enough of being the target of jokes. He desired to make the news. His request was granted, but not in the manner he had anticipated. According to sources, one scene involved a casual supper intended to put an end to long-standing tension. Kirk began receiving subliminal messages from Jock about money, loyalty, and who actually controls Atlanta. Kirk is said to have called Jock a washed-up mixtape mess in retaliation. Things were gloomy at that point. After a brief period of stillness, witnesses say Jock got up, knocked over his glass, and lunged across the table. As crew members rushed to stop it, the cameras continued to roll. Here's the twist, though. This was no ordinary altercation. This actually happened. When security arrived, Kirk had already fallen backward and struck his head on the edge after one crew member allegedly cried, "Cut the cameras now," of the setup of the stage. The whole eatery fell silent. When Jock realized what had happened, he stood there panting. Kirk remained still. Immediately, paramedics were called. In a frenzy to cover the incident, producers told everyone to turn in their phones. A few minutes later, Rashid showed up in full panic mode, allegedly yelling, "You said this was just TV." Several set members said it was one of the most unsettling scenes they had ever seen on a reality show. One, it didn't feel like filming anymore. According to Anonymous P, it had the feel of a crime scene. Since VH1 is VH1, they made an effort to keep everything under wraps. However, when half of the cast can't help but post cryptic remarks online, word gets around quickly. Fans began to notice odd conduct at that point. Rashida is sharing emojis of prayer. While Jock went radio silent for days, Carly read a tweet saying, "Lord, protect your soldiers." By the time the incident was reported, TM-style rumor pages had been created. The puzzle was already being pieced together by the internet. Kirk was attacked by Jock. Kirk was admitted to the hospital. Rashida lost her mind. The future of the show was now in jeopardy. However, things become much more suspect at this point. It was more than a week before VH1 issued an official announcement. Nothing, no press releases, no remarks. They seemed to be hoping the scandal would go away. However, it didn't. Rather, fresh disclosures of purported text exchanges between producers stating, "We can't air legal teams engaged in that footage." Others said local police escorted Jock off the island. Fans took to social media to demand answers despite the fact that no formal arrest record has yet been made public. Was there a script? Was it authentic? Was the cast pushed too far by VH1 for ratings? Because, let's face it, hip-hop and love have always dabbled in chaos. However, they may have gone too far this time and won't be able to turn back. According to people close to Jot, he has been going downhill. Friends say he claims that filmmakers set him up to lose his temper because he feels deceived. According to one purported voicemail that surfaced online, Jock said, "They wanted me to snap. They got what they wanted." Though Jock's team maintains that Kirk's injuries were fabricated for media attention. Insiders dispute this. Kirk reportedly had to stay overnight for observation after suffering a serious concussion and a shattered rib. According to reports, Rashida wouldn't leave his bedside. The reality TV community is really outraged over the entire issue. While some fans want VH1 to completely shut down the show. Others think the network is taking advantage of the anguish and suffering of black males in order to boost ratings. If that wasn't enough, there are allegations that VH1 may be holding on to the full video of the fight and won't show it because of legal risks. However, it raises a troubling concern if that is the case. What do they wish to conceal? Because it may ruin not only Jock's career, but the entire Love and Hip Hop brand if the raw clip leaks. People are already offering money for it. And that's where things become extremely sticky in the plot. According to insiders, VH1 management are split. Some want Jock gone for good, while others fear that a public ban may provoke retaliation. According to reports, Jock's legal team is bracing for the worst since the terms criminal negligence and on-set assault are currently making the rounds on entertainment blogs. The internet's response to this story has been nothing short of combustible. So, let's talk about the reactions before we get into the purported legal mess. This is where T's video comes in. Because of the public outcry, the released video, and the startling direct messages between Jock, Kirk, and Rashida, they may all point to the truth. The evening, and who is actually in charge of this whole situation? Everyone believed it to be just another exaggeration of hip-hop and love when the reports initially surfaced online. Let's be honest, to keep us entertained, these same individuals staged breakups, weddings, and unexpected pregnancies. However, even the most doubtful admirers were correct when they declared, "Nah, something about this one feels different." Unverified video starts to appear online a few days after the Puerto Rico tragedy. Hazy footage that seemed to show Jock and Kirk getting into a furious altercation. Faces were not plainly visible. However, the voices were clearly audible. The sound of chairs collapsing and screams was followed by Jock yelling, "You've been lying to me for months, Kirk." Like wildfire, it spread. Captions such as "Uncut Little Fight Leaked" were posted on gossip pages. "This one is terrible, everyone." The hashtags #FreeJoe and #PrayerFork were popular within hours. Here, however, things went from disorganized to blatantly evil. An unnamed crew member said on the blog Relatin. Finful, that producers were aware of the growing animosity between Kirk and Jock. They supported it. The insider claims that just minutes prior to the dinner scene, Jock was informed by a segment producer, "Tonight, we need genuine energy. Make something viral for us." Take a moment to process that. Peace was not what they wanted. They achieved their goal of pandemonium. The insider went on. Jock was at ease before filming. However, he lost his temper when producers continued to bring up the old money dispute between him and Kirk. It wasn't arbitrary. They prodded the bear. If that is accurate, then VH1 essentially set up an emotional bomb and pretended to be astonished when it detonated. Meanwhile, the storm's focal point was Rashida's emotional breakdown. Outside Atlanta Medical Center, she was photographed sobbing into her hands as she remarked, "He almost didn't make it." That clip alone went viral. It received 15 million views in a single day. Just when it seemed that the story was resolved with Jock as the villain, new leaks changed everything. Fans flooded her comments with prayers, hearts, and rage. Late one night, mysterious Twitter account called VH1. Whistleblower shared a series of purported screenshots of Jock and a showrunner named T in the messages. Jock seemed to say, "I told y'all I didn't want to film that scene. For weeks. Kirk has been making fun of me." The showrunner answered, "Calm down, dude. Go along with it. It's television." If those, since multiple insiders assert that the screenshots are authentic, Jock was being emotionally manipulated on camera for dramatic effect. That is no longer reality TV. It's manipulation. Public sentiment abruptly changed, with fans wondering if Jock was really to blame or merely another pawn in VH1's ratings game. As one viral TikTok put it, they'll exploit trauma and then call it entertainment. Despite this, the H1 declined to respond, and the only official statement came from a generic public relations representative who stated, "We are doing an internal assessment and are aware of the on-set altercation. It's giving hush money with a contract attached. Internal review." Translation: "We're lawyering up, but let's talk about the legal mess because, oh baby, it's deep." According to sources close to the Frost family, Rashida originally wanted to charge Jacques with assault. But the storyline suddenly softened once VH1's lawyers got involved. It seems that producers promised to support Kirk's recovery and cover all medical costs in exchange for Rashida staying quiet. His publicist issued a statement denying any intent to harm, saying Jacques acted in self-defense during a heated argument. There was no premeditation or malice, but that defense didn't last long. A leaked police report surfaced confirming authorities were called that night, though names were redacted. One officer allegedly noted a male suspect was detained for questioning after a physical altercation at a production site. Translation: Jacques was arrested and released quietly, and that's why. His final Instagram caption said, "Sometimes the truth hurts worse than the lie." He had stopped using social media entirely, including posts, stories, club appearances, and everything else. It hits differently now than it did back then when fans didn't understand what it meant. This is where things start to become heated. Carly Red, one of Jock's close pals, began to imply that there was more to the story. "You all don't even know what they've been hiding," Carly remarked during a live stream. "If the truth comes out, it's going to shut down VH1 for real." That one line set the tone. The internet is on fire. What is the truth? What do they have to conceal? Then came the most shocking revelation. Kirk's near-death injuries, however, were reportedly less severe than the media reported, according to a purportedly leaked medical report. The hospital footage was inflated for pity, according to some admirers. Others believe that in order to make the narrative more interesting, the H1 released it themselves. In the meantime, the network received a warning from Jock's attorney. "If offensive material appears, we will take legal action." At that point, VH1 subtly removed all of the Puerto Rico episode's promotional materials. It disappeared as if it had never been there. Then came the words that no one had anticipated hearing. Officially, young Jock has been placed on indefinite leave from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The implication was obvious despite the statement's clinical, business, and icy tone. In an attempt to rescue itself, VH1 was slashing Tiz. Fans weren't buying it though. Every official post had a deluge of comments. "You guys set him up. It is necessary to cancel this show. The uncut footage is where. The truth is something we deserve." By now, VH1's empire was beginning to fall apart. And what had started out as a single skirmish had escalated into a full-fledged PR catastrophe. But this is hip-hop and love, isn't it? Nothing is ever truly buried. Because a producer leak hit the blogs just when folks believed things couldn't get any worse. An assistant editor allegedly came forward and said that the uncut fight tape was still there and that it showed something so unsettling that it would immediately ruin several people's careers. They claim that the video doesn't only depict the altercation. Immediately following, there is a confrontation between Rashida and a producer in which she yells, "Y'all did this! You pushed them to fight for ratings." If that is accurate, the issue is now more than simply a controversy. We are discussing the possibility of a lawsuit. Additionally, as the investigation intensifies, Jock's arrest, Kirk's health, and VH1's silence are set to come together in a way that has the potential to completely upend the reality TV sector. Because we're going right into the money trail, the fallout, the legal showdown, and the startling rumors that this whole when the suspension news broke online, the incident was a part of a hidden producer plan gone bad. Fans were incensed at VH1 as a whole, not just Jock, because this was no longer about a single fight. This concerned the lengths producers will go to in order to increase their ratings, as well as the people they are prepared to ruin in the process. The ensuing timeline resembled a full-length criminal documentary more than a television program. The hashtag Justice for Joe SC went viral on Twitter within 48 hours. Thousands of fans shared side-by-side videos that contrasted the battle footage that was leaked with sequences that broadcast on television, with editing that fell short of the blows. To make Jock appear to be the aggressor, the camera angles and even the replies were recut. Look here. When Kirk falls, the background changes. That's two different takes spliced together. They fake the impact. One YouTuber dissected it frame by frame, stating that single analysis racked up 3 million views in a day. Suddenly, the internet weren't just watching the scandal. They were investigating it. The reports followed. An anonymous internal document published by a former VH1 sound engineer stated, "Ensures scene continuity and maximize emotional response during episode 7 editing." In other words, they knew exactly what they were doing, creating emotion to keep viewers interested. The surprising confirmation by Atlanta police, however, was the real twist. There was more to young Jock's arrest than a straightforward start to miscommunication. A police affidavit that was recently made public claims that Jock was arrested overnight following the brawl. According to the affidavit, after being verbally provoked, the suspect made physical contact. Several witnesses attested to earlier tension that the production crew had fostered. Yes, you heard correctly. The police openly acknowledged that production contributed to the situation getting worse. And this whole thing could turn from messy drama to criminal carelessness if that turns out to be the case. Jock's legal team, meanwhile, worked quickly. His attorney, Monica Reeves, a well-known lawyer in Atlanta, filed a motion requesting that VH1 revealed a full raw tape. She declared, "My client will not be the fall guy for a network that makes money off of fake pandemonium. We want openness." Naturally, VH1 chose not to respond. When the temperature is too hot, they always do. However, insiders say they are afraid because the video reveals more than just the fight. It also exposes the events leading up to it. According to rumors, just before the Jock blows up, a producer whispers something to him off camera. Although the specifics of what was stated are unknown, claim it included a secret regarding Rashida's marriage that was never revealed. And while everyone was busy discussing Jock's guilt, we came across her. Behind closed doors, Rashida was deteriorating. She hasn't shot a single new scene since the event, according to people close to her who spoke to the Shade Room. According to an insider, Rashid is done. She feels betrayed by everyone. This includes the fans, the producers, and the cast. According to reports, she is thinking about quitting the show entirely, which would be disastrous for VH1. Rashida is Atlanta's love and hip-hop. It's a show without a spine without her. But just as Rashida started, this is where the story gets more complicated. Removing herself from the manufacturing process. The state of Kirk Frost's health took an odd turn. Initially, doctors diagnosed him with mild brain injuries and a concussion. But more recent reports point to a more serious condition. According to a leaked hospital note, he experienced unanticipated neurological issues. Some fans think that because the producers delayed medical assistance to keep the cameras going, the injuries got worse. If that's the case, VH1 might be dealing with more than just legal action. We are discussing criminal responsibility. Finally, in the midst of all of this confusion, Jock spoke up. On Instagram, he shared a single black and white video. That tape broke the internet. Y'all don't know the half. They told me to play along. They told me to turn up for TV. Now, I'm the monster. There was no music or captions, just a jock sitting in his car with red eyes and a trembling voice. Millions of comments poured in, some heartbreaking, some angry, but all expressing the same sentiment. We want the truth. Yet the rarest thing of all is truth on reality TV, because VH1 executives were rushing behind the scenes. Sponsors started to withdraw. A well-known company that had recently inked a multi-million-dollar contract for the upcoming season halted operations while an inquiry was conducted. According to insiders, producers deleted emails and erased hard drives to hide their tracks. And production meetings became poisonous and suspicious. As if to conceal evidence, one crew member even said that the whole editing department of the show was shut out of the system overnight. In the meantime, this was being devoured by blogs. Everywhere, headlines cried out. Following the Kirk controversy, VH1 is being investigated. According to leaked emails, producers stage a fight scene. Young Jock employs the best. The network is sued for $10 million by a lawyer. Indeed, it is correct. According to reports, Jock sued the network for $10 million, claiming mental suffering and defamation. Fans began comparing Jock's predicament to other reality stars who have spoken out against manipulation, such as Tamar Braxton, Joline Hernandez, and Nene Leakes. It's almost like VH1's entire empire is built on pain. However, the most terrifying rumor came from within VH1 itself. His lawyer issued another statement stating this was never about fame. It's about justice for an artist exploited for entertainment. During a crisis meeting, management reportedly declared, "We can't let this footage leak," according to a junior producer who supposedly confessed. "We're done if it does." Completed. They used that word because apparently the video doesn't just show Jock snapping. It also shows how they forced him there.